This season has been very, very surprising. Absolutely no one could have predicted that the season would go the way it's currently going, and we're not too proud to hold our hands up and say we were wrong about our predictions and expectations of certain teams. In fact, that's exactly what we're here to do in this video today. These are 6 teams we were so wrong about. We'll start with Chelsea. Absolutely no one could have predicted what we have seen from them so far this season. Yes, they were crowned champions of the world in the summer, but the way they started the season still wasn't very convincing. They won just 2 of their first 7 games of the season, so everyone quickly wrote them off. But they have really grown into the season and now look like a real threat on all fronts. Chelsea are now real contenders in both the Champions League and the Premier League, and this is surely not something many would have predicted at the beginning of the season. Many said Maresca could not lead a team to success and that Chelsea's project was going nowhere, but they are proving everyone wrong this season. Top 7 in the Champions League, top 2 in the Premier League. Really, who could have predicted this? Another London club that's proving everyone wrong is Spurs. After the signings they made in the summer and the Super Cup game against PSG where they very nearly defeated the Parisian Giants, everyone thought these guys were going to show some real dominance this season. Then they went on to defeat Man City in their second game of the season, and everyone started to have some fear for them. But as the season has progressed, they have gone to prove everyone wrong. They've won just 5 of their last 15 games across all competitions, are already out of the EFL Cup, and currently find themselves mid-table in the Premier League, away from the European places. For those who looked at how Spurs started under Thomas Frank and thought that they would compete for a trophy or something, well, it appears you were so wrong about them. And we'll be honest, most people were also wrong about PSG. After the season they had last time out, absolutely obliterating everybody on their way to the European treble, everyone thought that would continue into this season. In fact, there were even discussions about them being the first club to do back-to-back trebles. That's how scared everyone was of PSG. But watching them this season, it's clear that we were so wrong about them. Of course, they're still a quality team, but they're surely very beatable. Marseille beat them and kept a clean sheet. Bayern Munich beat them with 10 men for a full half. Lille, Strasbourg, and Lorient took points off them while they needed late goals to secure wins against Lyon and Nice. At the beginning of the season, most people had PSG as favorites to win it all, but now they're surely not top 3 favorites to win the Champions League, and even Ligue 1 is not looking so easy for them with Marseille and Lens hot on their trail. Long story short, we were wrong about these guys. They look so ordinary. You know who else looks ordinary? Real Madrid, having hired Alonso and added the likes of Trent and Huijsen to the squad in the summer, Real Madrid looked like they were ready to get back to their normal, dominant selves. And at the beginning of the season, it looked like they were doing just that. They won their first 7 games across all competitions and established an early lead in La Liga. Their heavy loss to Atletico Madrid started to create room for doubt, but the win in the Clásico a few weeks later brought some confidence back. But the reality is that if you look at how they've been playing, you'll realize they're not actually as good as we all thought they were. They won just 1 of their next 4 games after the Clásico and nearly dropped points against Olympiacos in the Champions League. They struggled against a poor Juventus, struggled against 10-man Getafe, lost to a Liverpool in crisis, and needed a controversial goal to secure a point against newly promoted Elche. And on top of that, there seems to be some dressing room drama brewing at the club which could lead to further damage if they're not careful. We were definitely wrong about Real Madrid this season, but of course this video cannot be complete without Liverpool. We could not have been more wrong about a team this season. Defending Premier League champions, top of the Champions League group phase last season, utterly dominant on all fronts, had enough rest after missing out on the Club World Cup, then spent a truckload of money in the summer. Naturally, everyone expected them to go for the quadruple this season. And to be fair, the way they started the season, it felt like they actually would. They started with 7 straight wins across all competitions against teams like Arsenal, Newcastle, and Atletico Madrid, but all of a sudden everything turned around. They lost 4 games on the bounce, managed to push past Eintracht Frankfurt, Aston Villa, and Real Madrid, but have now slipped again with 3 losses on the bounce, 2 of those coming at Anfield. We're not even halfway into the season, and Liverpool have already lost more games than they did last season. At this point, it's not even about trophies anymore. It's whether they can finish in the Champions League places. They're currently in the bottom half of the Premier League table. Absolutely no one could have predicted this. We were all wrong about Liverpool. Just the same way we were wrong about Barcelona. After completing the domestic treble, scoring loads of goals, playing entertaining football, and defeating Real Madrid 4 times last season, everyone expected fireworks this season. But what we've seen so far has been far from that. They look easy to break down and defeat. They lost the first Clásico, were beaten by PSG, humbled by Sevilla, outplayed by Chelsea, and needed very late goals to beat Levante and Girona, both in the relegation zone. They also nearly lost to Club Brugge. And for context, even with Liverpool's crisis, they're still ahead of Barcelona in the Champions League table. Top 8 finish seems nearly impossible right now, and you can't confidently pick them to beat anyone in the playoffs. This is just not the Barcelona anyone expected. They look lost, confused, and out of ideas.